At the University of Lincoln, we recognise that change is coming, and we're preparing our students to lead that change. That means a great student experience underpinned by world-class research. With our students, we're solving global challenges in fields like health, energy, agriculture and climate. So come to an open day and be the change.
Hello and welcome to our virtual open day. Congratulations, because if you are watching this, you are more than likely an offer holder with us here at Lincoln. And more specifically, an offer holder for health and social care or one of the sciences. So congratulations and welcome. What we would like you to do this evening is to speak to us, tell us where you're watching and ask your questions. This first hour is full of information, so it is your info zone. And at 6 o'clock, you can go back onto, leave this stream, go back onto our website, so the link that you will have just been sent. If you can then, you will then be able to go and listen to your subject sessions and find out much more about your actual subject. Hi, Tia from Suffolk. Tell us whereabouts in Suffolk and which school or college you're at would be amazing if you do that. And also a Market Deepin, so somebody just very close to us, down towards sort of Lincolnshire. So really lovely to meet you all. And please ask your comments in the comments section, just as we have got already. We have got a whole lineup that is coming up. So we've got our accommodation office, we've got accommodation to show you this evening with Vicky. We've got student health and wellbeing. So we've got Tom from our wellbeing team, and he's going to tell you all of the tips and things that you need to look out for, how to look after yourself before coming to university. We've got Kat from the Students' Union, who's going to tell us all about a host of things that Lincoln Students' Union have got lined up for you. And we've got Catherine about your finance. So how to apply for your finance, what to look out for, and all of those sort of things. And then if your mums and dads are watching, your parents are watching, then please hang around, because we have got Penny, who is here to give you lots of tips as to how you can prepare your child ready for the university. So without further ado, we've got Abby from Doncaster. How, Abby? And Faith with your first question. What's the latest when we have to apply for a loan? So Faith, we will pick that up when we speak to Catherine. So hold on. And when we meet Catherine, she will be able to answer that for you. So without further ado, because we've got a real action-packed hour, I'm going to introduce our first guest, and that is Vicky. And Vicky is, hopefully you are, in sunny Lincoln, which I am, but it doesn't look sunny quite at the moment here. But the sun is out. So Vicky, tell us where you are, because that looks very much like a student accommodation to me.
Hi, I'm Vicky, and I'm from the University of Lincoln Accommodation team, and I'm sat in St Mark's, one of our 7 residences. So there's a whole variety of accommodation that you can apply for at the University of Lincoln, and this is one of them. So as you can see behind me, if you're a health and social care student or a medical student, we are really super close to the medical school. So this might be one accommodation which is really amazing for you. As you can see out the window, how close we are to campus, and hopefully see how close the medical school is. Like I said, this is one of our 7 residences, and we offer a whole variety to students who stay with us, including bills all inclusive, 24/7 security and 24/7 maintenance as well, all contents, insurance and everything you need while you're staying in accommodation. And in the majority of our accommodations as well, in the lounge, where like I'm in currently, you get a TV license if the TV is included with the accommodation, which is in all of our accommodations apart from Lincoln Court. So this is an example of our social area in the accommodation. So a lot of it will be similar, slightly different shapes and sizes, with a large social area to interact with your flatmates, and also a dining area for you to share meals, have pizza parties, study, whatever you like to do whilst you're staying in accommodation and get to meet people in your new home away from home. So just coming into the kitchen now. So St Mark's are quite lucky in the respect that we have quite large kitchens and open plans. All of our accommodations have slightly different shapes and sizes with different number of appliances in it, depending on the flat sizes of the accommodation. So for St Mark's, for example, some of the flats are 5 to 8 bedrooms. So you'll have 2 cookers, 2 microwaves, 2 kettles. Some of the larger flats, you may have at Viking House, for example, up to 23 people in a flat. So you may have a fair few more appliances. So what do you bring with you to university? What's important for you to have in the accommodation? So what you kind of see in the accommodation right now is what you kind of get. You get your kettles, your ovens, your appliances. Unfortunately, you don't get the lovely glasses in the middle of the table if we've done that to make it look really pretty for you today. But you can bring all of those items with you to make it look pretty. So make sure you bring your pots, your pans, your plates, and enough stuff to get you started and set up. And you can buy things like a toaster when you get here, or you might end up with quite a lot of toasters in one small flat.
That's
But
good
now
advice. Very good advice, Tiffany. Otherwise, we could have 12 toasters trying to fit into those cupboards.
Definitely. You might want a coffee machine on the side instead of a fair few toasters.
Exactly.
So this is the example of an ensuite bedroom. So the majority of the accommodation at the University of Lincoln is ensuite. We do have some with a shared bathroom at Lincoln Courts. And then you can also see from the bed sizes that the majority are 3/4 beds, apart from Lincoln Courts, which has a single bed, and the majority of them have under the bed and around the bed storage for your suitcases, your sports equipment, whatever you need. If you want to have a hanging skeleton to help you remember the names of the bones and everything to help you with your courses, there's plenty of space in the room to hide that away when you don't need it out for your studies. You also get a large desk with some drawers and overhead space for your textbooks or your trinkets while you are away from home. We always recommend when you move into a room to make it your own, bring little decorative items, your own bedding, your teddy bears, your pictures, and all the little things that you need to make it your own. Just remember just to bring enough stuff for you and enough to make you comfortable, and maybe pack a list or make a list when you're packing so you know exactly what to bring. And don't forget the all important things, especially the chargers. You don't want to bring your laptop or your phone and forget your charger, otherwise you won't be able to call mum to send it in the post or anything like that. Make sure you have everything that you need. We all do it, do not worry. So this is the example of an ensuite room. These are pretty similar across all of our accommodations. So what you see is very similar to what you would get. For example, Lincoln Courts has a different one, but Signet Wharf, Viking House, Valentine Court, and all the others are very similar to what you are seeing right now. So we'll take you back into the lounge area. And then if you have got any questions, please do ask them, because either I'll answer them myself or my colleague Harriet will be answering them in the chat, and we'll get as many accommodation questions answered as possible. So when can you apply for accommodation? So you can apply from now. So you can make an application as soon as you accept your offer with the university. You can apply when you have your made your firm all of your insurance choice, and a couple of days after you have applied, you should receive an email from us which will take you to the accommodation portal, which will allow you to book accommodation. You'll just need to make 4 choices and then select them in order of preferences, and then you can submit that to us, and then a few days later we will send you an accommodation offer. When you receive your accommodation offer, you'll be asked to pay a £49 down payment. This goes towards the first rent instalment. So this year you'll be able to pay in either all upfront in 3 termly instalments or monthly. When you accept your offer, you can select which payment plan is best for you. So please make sure you do that. And if there's any issues when you're accepting offers and you want to change it when you get here or anything at all, please do contact us and we can get that all sorted for you.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Vicky. That is very comprehensive. So just to clarify, that you can't apply for accommodation until you are in what status?
So you will be able to apply for accommodation once you have firmed or put as your insurance choice on UCAS. You will not be able to apply for accommodation until that point.
Perfect. So you have to put us down as a firm choice or an insurance choice on UCAS, but accommodation is open now, so you can apply. And assuming that you go through all of those processes, then you will be able to apply and get your choice of building of accommodation. So Signet Wharf, St Mark's, whatever that might be, Gateway, then you can do that, and we'll find that out fairly quickly, won't we? So you will be able to know where you are fairly quickly, which is amazing. And just for viewers, obviously Vicky is currently in the St Mark's accommodation, but on Tuesday evening between 4 and 5 we are going to be showing our other accommodation. So we're showing Signet Wharf and another accommodation on Tuesday,
179 High Street.
179 High Street. So we will be able to have a little tour of those as well. As you're on, Tiffany, not even Tiffany, Tiffany is behind the camera, so I'm not going to ask Tiffany to answer the question. Vicky, Holly has asked a question, are you allowed guests? Which I think lots of people will be wondering about that.
So you can have guests. Obviously, we don't advise them to be here 5 out of 7 days a week, but you can have guests up to 2 or 3 times. If your mum wants to come visit or your friends from home want to come up for the weekend, then they are more than welcome to come and stay, and they can stay in the accommodation with you. Just obviously you will be responsible for your guests while they are staying in the accommodation.
And obviously got to be very, very mindful of the other residents in your flat, haven't you, as well? Kirsty has asked a question. So hi Kirsty, how is accommodation distributed?
So we will send the offers, we'll send it out on the availability. You will only be allocated with your year of study. So if you're a first year student, you will only be allocated with first years, same for returners, second years, third years, and so on. So we just allocate you to a flat with other students of the similar year, and then that is how we do it.
Amazing. And we have a comment about, don't forget your universal wall plug. So any international students that are watching, that is amazing advice. Thank you for that, because that is something that you definitely need to put on your packing list if you are traveling as an international student. We've also had a question from Crystal. Is there a date I need to confirm my place? Which is a really good question, I think.
So for accommodation offer, you'll get 14 days to accept the offer. So you just need to accept it within that period. If for whatever reason you have missed the offer or you need it changing or anything, just contact us at accommodation@lincoln.ac.uk or contact us using the query form on our website, and we will be able to assist you in either resending the offer out or changing it to whatever you need.
Amazing, thank you very much. We've got another question. Oh, got somebody coming from Jamaica. That's very exciting. I'm sure it'd be much warmer in Jamaica right now than it is in Lincoln. Even though the sun is sort of shining, it is a bit chilly. So pack a jumper if you're coming from Jamaica, I think is one of the things you need to pack into your accommodation. So Holly, just to follow up on Holly's question, then we'll go to one of the other questions. When do we find out our actual flat and room number, which I know lots of people want to know, but that's a little bit later down the cycle, isn't it, Vicky?
Yeah, you should hear more about that towards summer. So we are looking to do that. It'll either be June, July, August time. We haven't got a concrete date at the minute, but it will be towards that time period. And then once you get your room allocation, you'll be able to join the University Friends for Life scheme, which you can go on and you can find people who you'll be living with in your accommodation and get to know people in advance of arriving and just get to know your flatmates way in advance.
It's really good advice, that, actually, because actually, Holly, if you join some of our Friends for Life, which you can join now, and then there will be accommodation groups where you can join and actually have a conversation. So all of those things that Vicky sort of advised about, actually, you can bring a coffee maker and I'll bring the toaster. then you can ensure that actually in your flat you've got it as homely as you possibly want it to be, really, and everybody has got everything. But that, as Vicky said, that your actual flats won't be allocated until much later into the summer, but you will know which building you're in. One of the other questions we have is, are you able to choose the floor or size of flat you're in? So can you go down to that sort of level of detail, Vicky?
Yeah. So when you accept your offer, there is an additional comment section. I think it's section 3 or 4, if I remember correctly. You can put in your preferences. So say if you're coming, you and your friend are both coming from the same city, same school, and you want to live together at university, you just need to pop each other's names and the ID in there, and we will try our best to put you in the same flat or close together. Again, if you have preferences such as you don't want to be on the ground floor, you want to be away from the lift, you don't want to be near the kitchen, and whatever preferences you may have, again, if you just pop those in the little comments section, then we can add that to your application. So when we do the allocations, we will try to allocate with those in mind. Obviously, we can't 100% guarantee, as a lot of students have their requests, but we will do our best to accommodate them where we can.
One of the other questions I would have is, if you do require any additional support, is there any way that what should you do, basically? So if you need any sort of additional support alongside your choice of accommodation, when and where do you sort of highlight that, really?
It's always good to start from the application process. For example, we've got the student support team, student wellbeing team, the residential wardens. There's a whole hand of support available for students who are applying for the university and for the accommodation. So if you've got any worries, any specific requirements, would definitely recommend contacting those teams as well as us, and then we can point you to the right direction to make sure you've got all the support ready for when you move into the accommodation and whilst you're staying with us.
Fabulous. We've got a quick question here about travel from an international student. Your travel, just what I would suggest is contact the international office. So I think, and I'm hoping that at some point Olivia will help me out here. It is international inquiries, I think, at lincoln.ac.uk. They will be able to help and support your travel to Lincoln, but ultimately the train travel from London to Lincoln is within sort of a 2-hour journey. So we are around a 2-hour train journey from London to Lincoln, if that helps you. But I can see that somebody has already answered that, so that is amazing. Thank you very much, Ryan. You're one step ahead. So Crystal has asked, for example, disability facilities. So I think you answered that. So hopefully, Crystal, that has helped with that. Because I know that lots of people want to know that. So Vicky, you are in accommodation.
Yes.
It looks amazing, but actually I'm somebody that quite likes a touch and feel of actually coming into somewhere. Are there any options to actually still come and visit accommodation, to physically come and have a little look? I appreciate we're watching from home tonight.
Definitely. You can come along on one of the open days or the offer holder days or informal open days. All of those are advertised on the University of Lincoln website, and there is accommodation tours running on all of those events, so it is worth looking into there. If you can't make it in person, we do have the 360 tours available on our website, and we are looking to get some videos as well of in-person tours put up there as well for the future, so people can see what it's like in case you can't get to us.
Fabulous. And as Vicky said, if you go onto our website to book, thank you very much, Olivia. We have informal visit days. We've had one this afternoon, and we have them every 2 weeks on a Wednesday afternoon. But if there is an absolute bespoke chance that you are in Lincoln and that's the only day you can come and visit, we will accommodate as much as we possibly can, certainly between Monday and Friday. So please don't hesitate to get in contact with us, because we know how important it is to actually physically see and get a feel for the accommodation. Thank you very much. And thank you, Crystal. I don't think I picked up exactly on your prompt, but thank you very much for your help. And thank you very much, Olivia, our friendly advice, and our friendly advisors, Vicky, Tiffany, Harriet, and the team are working very hard behind the scenes to help and make sure that your transition to our accommodation is as easy as possible. I've got one more question and then we will say bye to Vicky and say hello to Tom. Is there an accommodation fee discounts for annual payment or instalment? So I think there was another question earlier about the best way to sort of sort out payment almost. Have you got any advice for that, Vicky?
Obviously, I would recommend applying for accommodation within your budget. As far as I'm aware at the moment, for first year students, there is no discount for certain payment plans or anything like that, but we can be pretty flexible. So if there's anything particularly that you need, please do get in contact with us and we can try to find out the correct information for you and advise you further on the options available.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And I will just sort of reiterate, on Tuesday between 4 and 5, we have got a whole hour dedicated to our accommodation, where we will be viewing other areas of our accommodation, so 179 High Street and Signet Wharf, all within sort of 5-minute walk of lecture theatres. And I think you can perfectly, the fact that it's still light, you can see the rush hour traffic in the back there of Lincoln and how close we are. I think you can almost see McDonald's in the background.
Yeah, definitely. If I walk this way, you'll be able to see campus.
So that's how close we are, and we can also see the gateway there. So that is the gateway and Lincoln Medical School as well. So just give you a real feel as to how close we are to everything in Lincoln. And this is sort of almost St Mark's is almost one of our furthest away accommodation, weirdly, isn't it? So it's so lovely and so close, and it's quite unique. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we will see you again next week, Vicky. And I'm going to say bye to Vicky. And now I'm going to say hello to Tom. Tom is one of our student wellbeing advisors. Now, Tom, I'm going to ask you really. I'm just going to quickly say hi to Connor. Connor is one of our alumnus. I'm guessing. In fact, I know he is. And accommodation at Lincoln is lovely. So, hi, Connor. Lovely to see you. And so, Tom, tell us firstly what your department does and how we can support our students.
So at Student Wellbeing, we cover so many different ways of supporting students. So we can help anywhere from someone with physical disabilities, hearing or visual impairments, learning differences, ADHD, mental health conditions, emotional wellbeing. There's just so much support out there that we offer to students, whatever may be going on for you. As we've touched on already, some of that might be to do with the accommodation. If there's some specific adjustments for accommodation, it's more than likely you'll be in touch with our team before you come, and we can make sure those adjustments are in place in terms of accommodation. We can help with academic support as well. So if you do have a diagnosed condition, we can put in place something called a PASS plan, which just stands for Personalised Academic Study Support. And what that does basically is we look at your condition and look how we can best support you in your studies and make your studies as accessible as possible, really, for you and your situation, and how that looks for you. People might have the same condition, but how that looks in each other is sometimes very different. So all these plans are made bespokely with students once they've enrolled, to get sort of hit the ground running, make sure any academic support is in place, ready for your studies. But that's not just the only way to access our service. Monday through to Friday, we have our drop-in. So you can just come in and ask to speak to one of our team for a sort of a short 15-minute appointment. And then we can look at whatever may be going on for you and put some relevant support in that way. So we've got lots of links to external partners, things like we have counselling as well available potentially through Student Wellbeing, but there's lots of different pathways for support, and accessing our drop-in service is kind of one of the best ways for that, I suppose, once you've enrolled and have started here in Lincoln.
And even Tom, even if you're just feeling a little bit homesick and you just want to chat to somebody the team are there for that as well, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. So at the start of each term, we run a little workshop called Fresh Start, which is all about that transition to university, what barriers you might face, how you might be feeling, and sort of managing that change from where you are now to university, whatever your situation is. So yeah, homesickness. Even if feeling just a little bit homesick, come and see us, have a little chat. We want you to know we're here to help support you as best we can, and here to talk things through with you that way as well.
So if we've got viewers today, please ask any questions for Tom. That's why Tom's here. Tom will be here sort of answering questions until 6 o'clock. So please sort of ask the questions if which is often the case, Tom, isn't it? There might be questions that viewers don't want to sort of type in the comment section, then they can sort of email you directly if it's a parent watching, and that's definitely some of the support that the team do before students arrive here, isn't it? So can you sort of explain that sort of support sort of prior to arriving? So if you're a parent particularly watching and you think, I really want to ask that, but I can't ask it in the comments right now because my son or daughter will see it. What sort of advice would you give for that?
Absolutely. We fully understand that, your questions might not be relevant to other people and you might not want to discuss them in public. So what we always say is get in touch with us, email or call, any concerns, any questions, just let us know. If you have disclosed something via UCAS, it's more than likely you've come through to us anyway, and you'll be on our system. And what happens when you come to wellbeing is you get assigned one of our team called an advisor, and all of our advisors will be getting in touch with the students that have been allocated to them ahead of their arrival, just to see what support we can put in place. Like I said, to hit the ground running, to get the best start possible for when you arrive sort of in the autumn time. So do keep an eye on your emails for that. I know a lot of people use school email addresses when they apply for UCAS and may not be checking them, so do keep an eye out, because we do like to get in touch early and make sure you're as best supported as possible. So yeah, like we say, if you've come through on UCAS, hopefully we've been in touch already. If not, that does not make a difference to us. Give us a call or an email, or we've got an online form on our website, and we will have that initial conversation with you to make sure you are supported fully as you come to start here in Lincoln.
That's amazing. And obviously and understandably, starting university is very exciting and extremely exciting, but also nerve-wracking at the same time. So actually many students, whilst they're very excited, they can be very nervous as well. Are there any strategies that you could put in place, or any apps that you could point in the right direction, or any physical activities that students that are feeling a little bit unsure could do and put in place during this time before the end of September?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of things to say in terms of, I suppose, living independently. We always like to say, get practice in. Can you cook your family dinner one day a week? Can you try doing one wash a week? Learn how a washing machine works. I didn't. When I came to university, it was a bit too late to learn, but I had to learn. So if you can get the practice in, definitely get it in. In terms of apps and support, our colleagues down at Student Life, they've got a great app you can access, all about university life and how it works in Lincoln. I believe you can just search for Student Life Lincoln on the app stores to find that. And that's full of loads of great advice about that transition into university as well. And on the Student Services website, we've got a page which is dedicated to transitioning to university. Lots of advice and guidance on there. There's some great videos, again, that the Student Life team have made, all about settling into uni and sort of what that might look like for you as well. And there is an event we run here at Student Wellbeing through the summer. It's called the WOW Summer School, so it stands for Wellbeing, Orientation and Welcome, and it's a 3-day, 2-night stay on campus, packed full of loads of different activities to help transition to university life. So it's primarily aimed at those that have autism or ASD or mental health conditions, but applications are open. We are processing applications. We do have some spaces left. If you are interested, please do get in touch, fill in an application form. We can look at that. That's not a problem. But the idea of WOW is to make you orientated to the campus, finding out a bit what student life is going to be like at what is essentially a quieter time of year. So it gives you a chance to get a feel for the campus, sort of get a feel for your lecture halls, where you're going to be studying, have some academic sessions as well. Normally we have taster lectures or chances to meet people from your school, so you get a familiar face. So you know that once you're here, you've got someone you know, you recognise, and you can go to for any questions. There's lots of fun activities thrown in as well, some good social events, make good friends, and most importantly on the Wednesday this year, because it's the 20th, Wednesday the 20th through to Friday the 22nd of July. On the Wednesday night, we have booked pizza for dinner. So I know that's the important one. We've got some great pizza coming for Wednesday. So it's a really good chance to meet new friends and meet the wellbeing team and just get settled into uni ahead of the autumn term.
So no cooking required.
No. You can if you want. There is option to cook if you want to give it a go. But on the Wednesday, like I said, we're going out as a big group to get dinner together. So
those wow weeks are amazing. So if anybody is watching and you think that you would benefit from that, I can absolutely guarantee that you will benefit from it. They are amazing weeks, and the potential students literally changes in those 3 days, don't they? So they are amazing, and I know Crystal has verified how brilliant the team are, but actually I want to sort of add that as well. You are absolutely brilliant, and you work so hard as a team, and very much for the students. So you are absolutely sector leading in that team. So you're very lucky to have you. Thank you so much, Tom. As I said, Tom is here until 6 o'clock. So please email directly. Tom can be able to pick those up if you've got sort of questions that you don't want to share, or if you've still got questions, then please comment on the comment section and Tom can pick those up. Crystal has mentioned about, is Calm an app, or is that something else?
Yeah, it's an app.
It's an app. It's an app. So that's a tried and tested one as well. So thank you for that advice. That's great. So thank you so much, Tom. You are amazing. And I am going to say bye to you, but then I'm going to say hello to Kat. And Kat is from our Lincoln Students' Union. And you are the Vice President for Activities, Kat, aren't you? So
yes. Hello.
Before we go any further, I know Wednesday is probably your busiest day of the week, isn't it?
Yeah, so Wednesdays, especially for myself, Wednesdays are all about sports and society. So our Wednesdays are our Bucks days. So Bucks is our competitive sports leagues. We compete against other universities around our region competitively in all of our sports, from rugby, football, ultimate frisbee, golf. All of these compete on a Wednesday. And then after we've won our games, we head to our Students' Union venue at the engine shed, and we go for our night out quack.
And quack. Tell me about quack. Now, I know books, and I know that our students are actually having a bit of a winning streak in most sports at the moment. So fingers crossed, don't tell me the results, but watch out on our social media feeds, because we will be sharing the wins from this week. So tell me, what on earth is quack?
So quack is the Lincoln Student Wednesday night. It's about 1,200 to 1,400 people in a venue with some amazing cheesy tunes, some throwbacks as well. We had a High School Musical theme last week where we played all of the High School Musical album and everyone loved it. And myself and the other student leaders, we throw out rubber ducks. I know it sounds very trivial, but every week we have a different theme, and each theme comes with a duck. And we throw these off the stage into this crowd of people, and people go crazy about them.
You need to be there. It's one of those things that you need to be there, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
So, bar a Wednesday, what else happens in Lincoln Students' Union? And what have we got for all of these offer holders that are watching? What can we expect as we arrive in September?
So the Students' Union, for those that aren't aware what a Students' Union is, I'll just do a quick synopsis. So we are an independent body from the university, but we work very closely with the university to make sure that students are represented, supported, and offered opportunities, whether that's sports and societies, to volunteering, to building your skills log for your employability. So that's who we are. And myself, I used to be a student at the University of Lincoln, and I was lucky enough to be elected into this position by the student body of Lincoln. And I am able to provide all of the fun activities that go alongside your degree.
You do, but it's much more than that, because it's not just the fun activities. Actually, there is quite a serious element to the Students' Union as well, isn't there? So anybody that thinks, do you know what, actually, I want to get really sort of involved in my sort of course and have that student voice, it is with the support of Lincoln Students' Union, really, isn't it, to do that?
Yep. So alongside myself and the other student leaders, we also have a network of volunteer officers. Volunteer officers are current students that are elected into voluntary positions, and these span from activities reps all the way to academic reps. So our academic reps, we have everything from course reps to school reps to college officers. So you have representatives on every single level of your academic journey. So course reps, you have, depending on the size of your course, you have 1 or 4, depending on how many students you've got. These course reps speak to you directly, and they work with ourselves and the university to make sure that your course gets the feedback and gets that feedback loop back. So any worries, any issues, anything that goes on within your course, you can speak to them. They then work with school reps. So school reps then work with heads of schools. And then finally, college officers. These are 4 college officers that work within the college, work very closely with, again, the executive committee in the Students' Union, and with lecturers, heads of schools, heads of colleges, and programme leads.
Amazing. So thank you to Olivia. She is putting on our little banner here where we need to look to find out all of those lists of sports and societies, and they are numerous, from sort of, as Kat said, football, rugby, hockey, squash, every sport you can think of, along with all sorts of 5-minute, 20-minute society. I think it's 20-minute society, isn't it? And Harry Potter society, juggling, absolutely everything. But my question is, I'm planning on, obviously, I'm watching and I am an offer holder. And what I want to know is, during that first week of term, how do I get involved, and what sort of things can I expect in that first week?
So the first week of term,
into my accommodation.
It's okay. The first week of term, I'd say, is the most important term. That first week of your first year, that's where you make the friends, that's where you make the connections. We offer a Freshers Week. So I'm hoping that if you haven't before, you're hearing about it now. So a Freshers Week is put on for both first years and returning students. This is where we offer all of our sports fairs and societies fairs. So as Emma mentioned, we have about 152 sports and societies. These are options for you to come along, speak to current students that are part of those committees, and find out what they do, where they train, what kind of activities they do, and also find out about their taster sessions. So all of our sports and societies offer taster sessions and trials, where you can go along without having to pay anything. All you do is go along, try out whatever you want to do, whether that's you want to try out cheerleading for the first time, or whether you want to join the chess society. They will do a taster session that you can go along to, kind of get to know a few people. Obviously, Freshers Week is a bit nerve-wracking if you're going on your own and you don't know anyone. These taster sessions are perfect for you to meet like-minded people who share similar interests to you, and you can go along, have a go. If you like it and you want to be a part of it, you can join it there and then, or if you don't, you can then go on to a different taster session and keep going until you find the perfect one. Alongside our sports and societies fairs, we also have a Freshers Fair. So this is where we have lots of local businesses and worldwide companies as well. They come along, kind of offer you some freebies. Everyone loves a freebie, obviously. And you can go along with your flat. So you can go with people from your flat, people from your course, go and collect some freebies, go and speak to some local businesses, find out about what's going on actually in Lincoln. There's so much going on, and it's a perfect way for you to bond on that first few days. If you come along with your flat, come along with your course, go and get some food in one of our venues. It's the perfect time to make friends. And alongside all of that, that's all the daytime stuff. We also offer loads of nighttime things. These are both alcoholic and non-alcoholic sessions. So normally we obviously have our big Freshers Quack, because you can't have a Freshers Week without a Freshers Quack. We also have a big Freshers Welcome Party where we normally get like special guests. So last year we had Ray, and we've had Chase and Status, we've had Steps, we've even had Jedwood, which is a very interesting one. But we have loads of guests that come along for this Freshers Week, and you can go and see them. And again, go with your course mates, go with your flatmates, have fun. But alongside all of the we call them alcoholic events, drinking events, we also have lots of dry events. So for example, this year we had a roller disco. Our roller disco was so fun. We had a few sessions throughout the night. It's all UV lighting. And again, you can go along, make a fool of yourself, fall over a few times, but have fun. We also have bingo. We've got kind of like quizzes, so we do a big Freshers quiz, and our most popular event this year was our drag ball. So we had a drag ball festival where we had lots of well-known drag queens, some from RuPaul's Drag Race. They came along, did some lip sync battles, did a few shows, and it was such a fun night. And it was probably one of the best nights of Freshers, I'm going to say that. And since then, we've had all of these events kind of return. So it's not just a one-off thing. They do happen throughout the year. But that first week is definitely the most important for you to find out what's going on and bond with those friends.
It certainly is. So Danielle has asked a question: how do I get notified of these events? Now that's a really good question, because we will be, certainly every offer holder will start to have email communication from the sort of general University of Lincoln team, but there is some really key advice as to how you get connected with the sort of Lincoln Students' Union official Freshers Week, isn't there? So give us that bit of advice, Kat.
So obviously when you get your offer, you'll get sent information about the university. You can also find us on social media. So if you want to have a look at what we're doing at the moment in your lead up to coming, our Instagram is at UniLincolnSU. I'm sure if you just search the University of Lincoln Students' Union, they can all come up. I think they're below on this little banner thing. So you can start following us now. We've got our Freshers 2022 page live. So we will start announcing some kind of like teasers, kind of getting to know our students that are coming in September. And you can just find out about what we're doing at the moment, so you can see what you've got to look forward to in the future. And I'm pretty sure you will be hearing from us on results day as well. I'm pretty sure some information gets sent out.
It does. Yeah, it certainly does. We can guarantee we will make sure that we are sort of sharing everything as the lineup gets involved. Thank you so much, Kat. Please go and rest up, ready for Quack tonight. And thank you for spending your time. We've got a very busy week with elections next week for next year's people as well, haven't we? So it's very exciting. So yeah, follow it all on Lincoln Students' Union social media, because there is all sorts of activity regularly on there. What I would say is, thank you very much, Kat. I'm now going to introduce Catherine. Now, one thing that you probably do need to have ready for Freshers Week is your finance in place. And you also need to save up a bit of cash ready for that Freshers Week, really. That's my tip for anybody watching, really. Make sure you've got a bit of cash, bit of extra cash for that first week, for those incidental purchases, and also your all of that exciting stuff that Students' Union do. Now, Catherine, you are our funding expert here at Lincoln. So can you please share with everybody the very fundamentals of student finance, really?
Yes, of course I can. Hello, everybody. Okay, so most importantly, The funding applications are open now. Okay. Now you can make your application. You can find the application on the Gov UK website. Just need to really search for Student Finance England and you will get straight to it. You apply as if you're going to your first choice. So you can start your application now. You don't need to worry about waiting for results. Please don't do that. Just apply soon as you possibly can. It's really important. If you've made your application and it is completed by the 31st of May this year, then Student Finance England say that they will make the first instalment of your student loan 3 to 5 working days after teaching starts. Teaching starts the week after Freshers Week, which is why Emma said it's so important to try and make sure you've got some savings, you've managed to plan ahead to make sure you've got some money available to enjoy during Freshers Week, because your student loan isn't going to come into the bank until after that. So it's really, really important. When you make your application, there's some key information that you'll need to have. Most important thing is you're going to need, or your parents probably are going to need, their P60s from 2020, 2021, which means you already have it. And if you're self-employed, you need to talk to your accountants and get those tax returns. That's the information Student Finance England need to be able to make your assessment on the means testing. So you can start doing all of that now. Lots of time before the 31st of May. Don't worry if you miss that date. It just means that you probably won't have your money ready that first week after Freshers in that first week in teaching. Am I right, Emma, that we've got some healthcare students or prospective students that might be here?
So we will have some students that are from our School of Health and Social Care, so they're likely to have some NHS type students.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So for students who are doing courses that can get funding from the NHS, your applications, you are two basically. You must do the student finance application first. Do that as soon as possible. The NHS use the information you give to Student Finance England to check your eligibility. So the NHS applications don't actually open until after Easter, early summer. They're a little bit later. But if you can get your Student Finance England application in first, that means that the assessment of eligibility is done. So the NHS just can do the application of the allocation that they need to do.
Fabulous.
Excellent.
We've got a question from Amy, Catherine. How do we know we've completed it, or is it just what is on the government website? So I think her question really is, you know, if we fill in the government sort of website, how do we know we've got to the end and it's submitted? I'm hoping, Amy, that is sort of your question.
Yeah, that is a really good question. And what you need to do is make sure you follow the form all the way through to the end. It's probable that you'll be able to complete and submit the form, but it's really, really important to remember to attach all the evidence. Okay, so you are going to need things like a copy of your passport or the passport number, or you might even need to send your birth certificate if you haven't got a passport. You need to make sure you've got your national insurance numbers. These are the things that people sometimes forget to send and delay the application process. So read it carefully. Make sure you've included everything, because it's possible that you can submit the form and you think you've done everything. And this is the same for parents as well. You can submit the form and miss a bit of evidence, and you wouldn't actually know until Student Finance England contact you, which can be many weeks later because they're really busy. So just check through that you've got everything. And if you're not sure, you can ask us. We really don't mind. I think if you can email us on at student support at lincoln.ac.uk, we do have a team of specialist funding advisors who, if you're really not sure about anything, or you've got some unusual circumstances when you're doing the forms and you're not sure about it, they'll be more than happy to answer those questions.
That's amazing. We've got a question from Amelia. What do NHS Finance do?
Oh, okay. What they do, if you're doing a course that's, for example, nursing or midwifery and those kind of courses, there is an additional bursary to cover the costs of those courses. And also, because those courses have practice placements that involve going to work in hospitals, for example, and you might have unusual shift patterns and things like that, there are things like travel and possibly accommodation support if you're placed in a hospital that's a long way from the university. Not that it'll be a really long way, but it could be another hospital in Lincolnshire, and Lincolnshire's quite a large county.
Absolutely. So other things, obviously there'll be people that are not just getting sort of student finance, they will require or they might be looking for a bursary or a scholarship. What sort of advice would you give for anybody looking for those?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. The university has a whole range of bursaries and scholarships. Some of them are linked to the course you're studying. Some of them are linked to the financial background that you're coming from. Some of them are linked to maybe your personal circumstances. University has a fantastic website all about the bursaries and scholarships. And on there, there's lots of detail about each one and also how you apply for them. Some of them don't need an actual application because they can take information from Student Finance England, and some of them really do need a detailed application to be able to apply for them. Each one of those bursaries and scholarships on the website has the right contact details on them, and they will be sent directly to the right people. So I recommend everybody goes and has a look at those.
I absolutely do as well. There's a whole range on our website, as Catherine has just said. Another question that I have, so Danielle, please just go and have a look at our website for your question, but there are a whole range, sports scholarships and all sorts of things. What if you sort of come to university and your funding sort of in place, but actually you come across a bit of financial hardship? And you struggle to probably get home and you need to get home. What sort of advice would you give rather than sort of pack up and go home because you can't afford to live? What sort of advice would you give, and where would you point a Lincoln student to go?
Yeah, that is actually something that is really important to know about. University of Lincoln has a hardship fund. If you do find yourself in financial difficulties while you're studying, then you can make an application to that fund. It's confidential. They are going to want lots of information from you, but it is confidential. But we also have lots and lots of information before you come and when you just arrive about budgeting and managing your money. And we do have expert advisors who can help you with that on a slightly more personal note, because we're also very different.
Amazing. Faith has asked a couple of questions now. Her first question was, when's the latest time you can apply? But I'm guessing, Catherine, you would say apply now to ensure that it's in place, even if you change your mind.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Very good point. Absolutely. 100%. There is a deadline. The deadline is basically a whole 9 months after you've started your course. But please do not wait. If you miss that deadline, then sadly, there's nothing you can do. But the most important thing is if you apply now, as soon as you possibly can, you will not receive a loan unless you enroll. So if you're toying at the moment with maybe deferring a year or not deferring a year and you're really not sure just yet, please don't wait to apply for student finance until you've made that decision. Just apply now as if you're going to come in September, as if you're going to your first choice. And if during that time you think, actually, you know what, I am going to take a year out, you don't need to worry. You just need to let the university know that you're going to defer your entry, and then tell student finance and they'll just cancel your application and you just reapply next year in exactly the same way.
Amazing. Thank you very much. So Catherine, thank you so much. I'm really conscious of time because we need to speak with Penny about some parenting tips for coming to university. We will answer your questions. Please, as Catherine said, please send an email to studentsupport@lincoln.ac.uk and they will be picked up by the amazing team that we have in student support, who are full of experts with all sorts of advice for you all. So please do that. Thank you so much, Catherine. Thank you for your time this evening. I'm going to say bye to Catherine, but now I'm going to say hello to Penny. Now, what I'm going to give you all is a 5-minute warning. So if you are a potential student watching, please check to go back on your tab onto lincoln.ac.uk, the link that you were sent to join this sort of stream this evening, in order to click onto your appropriate subject session, which will start promptly at 6 o'clock. So that's your sort of 5-minute warning really to do that. If you're a parent watching, then please hang about, because we've got sort of 10 minutes of chat with Penny about some tips and advice for starting. So hi Penny.
Hello.
Do you want to give us a bit of advice, your advice for any sort of parent watching, because it's quite an anxious time as a parent, not only as a student, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's key is that we understand that it's such a big thing as parents, as well as it is for your child. So we know that some of your concerns will be a little bit different, perhaps, to the concerns of your children. So I've got a few top tips for the next steps. So you've just been through the whole stress of the application process, but there's more things to come. And obviously some of that's been covered already. But there's some top tips that we have for how you can help your child to settle in. I think the main piece of advice, and hopefully what you've kind of learned so far this evening, is that there is always help. There's always support in whatever area for your child. And for you as well. We often have parents who call with a concern about their child, even if it's just that they need to let a lecturer know that they're not going to be in that day, and we're at the end of the phone. So please be reassured about that. In terms of settling in, a big one is how your child will settle into their accommodation. So Emma suggested before this, which I thought was a great idea, come with a big box of chocolates and pop them in the middle of the coffee table and share them with your new flatmates. Have a chat about, I don't know, chocolate, whatever. So it's a bit of an icebreaker, quite a nice thing to do. You could also perfect a spaghetti bolognese and cook for your flatmates and chip in for the food costs. So there's various things you can do to kind of help yourself settle in. Something else to mention is that even though you've visited the university already, you've been to open days, you've been to offer holder days, if sort of late August or early September, your child is feeling a bit nervous, or if you want to get to grips with where they're going to be, please do get in touch and we can arrange a campus tour for you. I know in the past I've given it, and just to help kind of ease those nerves. Even grandparents have come before, just to share that experience a little bit. So that's something that we can certainly arrange for you. You possibly already know that we have 24-hour security on campus. So if in doubt, there is always going to be a telephone number that your child can call, and we will be able to support them, and someone will be able to put them in touch with the right team. And another great thing about Lincoln, which I think is very much reassuring for parents, is that all of our accommodation is so close to campus. Even in the second and third year, if your child moves out into a house or a flat, all of the student areas are still walkable to the city centre and to the campus. So they won't need to have a car, they won't need to be using public transport at all, which is a great thing. Freshers Week, again, just to emphasise that it's not just about nights out. Obviously, that is an element, but there's lots of support on Freshers Week. There'll be Freshers Fairs. Your child can sign up to all of the societies and start getting involved. And something I always say is, you know, the number of people they meet during Freshers Week is, I think they say it's like 1,000 people. So compared to where they've been at college or school, and they've had that real small, in comparison, small group of people to get to know, they will find their niche, and they will find those like-minded people, which I guess is really reassuring as well.
Can I just stop you there, Penny, just so I can answer Laura's question, because she's probably panicking with a minute to go. Laura, if you look at the banner that's going along the bottom, that is the link. So it's lincoln.ac.uk virtual offer holder day / virtual offer holder day, and that will take you to your subject session. Thank you very much. Carry on, Penny. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. So just a couple more things to say. Parents often have questions about whether their child will be able to get a part-time job, and that's certainly something that many of our students do. A role that we always recommend, because it's so flexible, would be a student ambassador. So that is working on behalf of the university, doing campus tours and things, and it's very flexible. So there's always an option to do some part-time work. And then finally, just a bit of advice about results day, which again can be daunting. First and foremost, I think basically don't panic. We're at the end of the phone line. A lot of universities open sort of, well, by 8 a.m. certainly, if not before, to start taking calls for any questions that you may have. So the applicant there's different things that will happen on results day. So they might hopefully meet their firm choice, and that's all sorted. They're going to that university. They may miss their firm choice and then automatically get accepted into their insurance choice. They may exceed the entry requirements, and they may wish to go to a different university that they thought previously they couldn't apply for. If they haven't applied to university already, you can apply via clearing straight away on results day. And then also, if your child has a change of heart, they want to do a different course, they can self-withdraw from UCAS and reapply via clearing. So the best thing to do is just to get on the phone to us if you have any concerns straight away in the morning, and we can help you. And also bear in mind that clearing stays open for several weeks after results day. So please don't panic. And I think really that's everything from me, Emma. I don't know if there's anything else.
No, that's covered loads. And firstly, I apologise for the train line. That's how close we are to the train station, because I'm on campus and you can hear the trains going past. So just to sort of verify how close we are to the train line here. One of the other things that I think parents would love to know about are the resident warden scheme that we have. So in our own accommodation, something that we didn't talk about when we were chatting with Vicky is the resident warden setup. So there are resident wardens in all of our accommodations. So they are here in the evening. So, you know, just to sort of be around if you're feeling a bit homesick, you just want somebody to chat to, you feel like you're not sort of settling in, or you just want to sort of play a board game because you're not interested in going to crack night, those sort of things. So we've got those there as sort of a listening ear as well. And they're all master's students. So they're all students that are in sort of probably a fourth year here at Lincoln as well. So certainly something as a parent I would be reassured about. Penny, thank you so much. Thank you. So anybody that is still watching, the sessions are now starting. So if you're interested in accountancy, finance, economics, then we've got the links. Interested in management, the links. These are sort of roundtable chats with people, so you can ask your questions. And if you are interested in the marketing and tourism, so they include programs like events management, sports business management, all of those sort of programs. Thank you so much for watching. Please, I hope you have an amazing time with your subject sessions. And it just remains for me to say that please do not feel as though there's not an opportunity to come and visit us in person, we would love you to come and still come and visit us in person at Lincoln. If you haven't had a chance, bring your family and come and see us. We hope you have a great evening. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.